Welcome back. This is Dad School Podcast. Quick 10-minute segment. I think
10 minutes of encouragement to help get you through your week.
that's
There
a
we
way
go.
better title than 10-minute episode. 10-minute segment. Go. So today's topic is following up with what we just talked about this past week. You had dad anger, how to diffuse anger in the past episode. This one is dad guilt and grace. What kind of happens after you done messed up? What
The
do you do?
aftermath, the fallout. Mhm.
Aftermath. After you do your algebra.
Yes. Yeah. Aftermath is always
The
rough.
roughest. It is rough. Yeah. So let's say there are moments that we mess up. There's something that we do wrong. There's an argument we get into. That's over with. Now what? You feel guilty. You feel ashamed. Um, that's dad guilt, right? You should have been better. I'm the worst dad in the world. Everyone hates me. It's really easy to slip down that path if you're not careful. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Um, saying that you messed up doesn't always mean you're terrible. It means it can lead to growth, and grace helps with that. So,
Yeah. So where the guilt gets you, and man, these are the things that they sneak up on me. I don't realize that they're starting to stack in the background. But then like when they show up, like, oh yeah, like I've been hearing these lies and been believing them for a while now, and yeah, it's time to root them out and deal with them again. But what they can often lead to if they don't get paid attention to and dealt with, uh, oftentimes we'll see emotional withdrawal. You start telling yourself the sorts of things. If you hear the script in your head going, yeah, they're just better off without me, so I'll just stay over here in my corner, and because I'm just gonna mess it up again. um and so being emotionally absent, and oftentimes turns into being physically absent because you're believing that lie that, oh, they don't need me around, I'm just going to mess it up again, I'm just going to blow up, go off the handle, or whatever it is. That unchecked guilt can lead you down that path. um, there might be some moments of overcompensation, swinging the pendulum too far the other way. That could even be the sort of thing of, um, I don't want to be the mean dad, and so I'm just going to give in to whatever they request all the time, and not standing up as a leader in your home, and setting that tone, setting that direction. Like, this is what our family is going to be about. These are the directions we're going to go based on character value and all that sort of stuff. Then we end up overcompensating, going the other way. Like, well, I don't want to step on toes. I don't want to offend anyone. So I don't want to be the mean dad. I'll just let them kind of do whatever they think they want. Um, Self punishment is one that gets me sometimes, where it's like, well, I don't deserve, I don't deserve feeling like I actually can rest right now, or I don't deserve, like, I should be able to feel joy because I've been terrible lately. And that's one of the lies that really gets in my ear, and can drag me down if I'm not paying attention to it. Um, but that's the thing about guilt, is if it's showing up in your life, I don't think, well, what we want to encourage you, because I'm encouraging myself at the same time, don't allow it to be a trap of what's going on with everything surrounding you. But let it be something that can help point you to something better.
Mhm.
If you start building that discipline in your life of, okay, what are the things I'm hearing myself tell myself regularly? Okay, now I'm going to try to let that point me towards something else. Trying to be mindful of that script you're telling yourself. Um, it could be a springboard if you recognize it and allow it to be.
Yes. And what is it? What does guilt help us to feel? It helps it. Well, that's a weird way to say it. Grace points. The answer is grace. Okay.
There we go. Hey, we
The,
got that.
the answer is grace. Sorry. Um, grace doesn't ignore what went wrong. It gives you the power to move forward anyways. And it's grace is very much very biblical. Okay. God and Jesus show us tremendous grace. In everything we do wrong, they have the power to completely and utterly destroy us. But no, there's a path and a way to save us through grace. Um, and that's something that us as dads need to understand. We're saved by grace, and we need to also use grace in our own lives. Okay. We own our issues without shame. Okay. We need to be graceful to ourselves. We can admit that we messed up without believing we're a failure and we're useless. Um, we can grow in our failures. We can your failure shouldn't grow. You can grow from seeing the results of your failure. You can pick yourself up without fearing that you're going to fail again. Okay.
Mhm.
You should not be afraid to try something again or get back in there and talk to somebody, be a dad again to your kids because you think you're going to mess up. You're not a worthless dad. You need to have grace on yourself that you can grow in your mistakes and be better next time. Um, you can apologize to somebody without hating yourself. You can apologize without self deprecation. Saying sorry doesn't mean that you're a piece of trash. It means that you care about somebody else's emotions enough and their feelings to make it right. And that's grace. You're demonstrating that in that action in a true, meaningful way, not just saying it because you're supposed to say it. You're saying it because you're demonstrating Christ's love in your life is the same thing. It's reciprocal.
Mhm.
Um, leadership that's rooted in love, not pressure. Okay. You lead your family out of love. You give them grace in their mistakes, not because you're greater than them. You're not trying to prove that you're the best, but you forgive their mistakes because you're supposed to. It's we're called to do that. Just
Yeah.
because you're a leader doesn't mean that you're all knowing and powerful. It means that you have a responsibility to demonstrate Christ's love in your life to your family and how you act with them.
Yeah, and so three things that can help hopefully propel you forward a little bit if you find yourself dealing with some dad guilt. Be reminded that your worst moment or handful of moments, that's not your identity. That doesn't make up who you are. Just because you have some points of failure, we all do. Um, but it doesn't erase all of your years of everything else that you've built, all of your relationship that you've had, that you've been able to build up in the past. And even if your past relationship hasn't been built up very, very strongly, that doesn't mean that taking steps forward into the future um, doesn't have to be 100% defined by your worst moments in your past. Today is a great day to take a new step in a new direction. Um, and uh, and then thankfully, God's grace absolutely can help cover large gaps in our shortcomings. You could be surprised with um, as your kids are growing up and they're moving from toddler stage to where there's no coherent thought that you can get out of them. Nothing makes sense. It's funny, but you can't have a conversation with a toddler very easily. And once they're teenagers, like, you can actually start getting into deep emotional things, and the deep emotional things come when they when they get to their teenage years. um but you could be surprised with how much grace God ends up showing as you start digging into the deeper emotional side of the pool with your kids. And if you ever go back, I'm really sorry about such and such thing that happened, the thing that I said, or the way I didn't show up in this moment. Um, you might be surprised with how God's grace ended up in that moment, carried your kid along, and still helped bring repair opportunity in that relationship. Um, and then offering up an apology is not a sign of admitting defeat. I think that's a lie that a lot of dads we end up carrying with us. Like, well, I can't ever say I'm sorry. That's a sign of weakness.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's authenticity, and that's something that's severely lacking in community life today, and I venture to say probably in a lot of families as well. Just being authentic with, this is what I was dealing with, this is what was going on in my life. I recognize that this is what was going on in your life, and I'm sorry. I messed up. I said the wrong thing. I did the wrong thing. I said I would do such and such, and I didn't get it done. Whatever is the hang up. Um, Admitting that you made that mistake, um, you're not sequestering yourself to the dungeon. Like, you're just owning up to who you are, and your family needs that.
And to add to that, apology is not where it ends. Changing your future behavior is where it really matters. That's the old adage of actions speak louder than words. Apologies are definitely needed and go a very long way, but a repeated apology with the same thing over and over again, yeah, be careful. We want to make sure we're improving ourselves, not using apologies as a crutch or a band-aid to make things all better. You need to address the root of the issue as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, final challenge for this week. If you are a dad who's yelled, you're not the only one who's ever yelled. You're not the only one who's checked out or missed a moment or messed up. But making sure you're the dad that came back and cares to make it right. That's the important thing. That's the important message you, as a dad, need to get to your family and to yourself. You matter, your family matters, and you staying around with your family and you staying in the trenches with them and working through problems is what really matters long term. So, your challenge is when you feel guilty this week, when you feel like you're worthless and you're doing everything wrong, pause, pray, apologize, to yourself, to others, to God, and be open to receiving that grace, um, and understand what that means. You know, if you need any kind of scriptural, being pointed in the right scriptures, you need any kind of encouragement, if you need tips, please reach out to us, dadschoolpodcast.com. And we'd love to come alongside you and help you in your spiritual battles, and in your guilt gets too hard to handle. We're here for you. So thanks, and join us again next time.
See ya.